Hey everybody, this is Wendy Ponomarenko. I'm the art teacher and librarian at Temple Emanu-El. And as part of the ongoing library project, I've been recording a book a night and editing it and posting it up on the Temple Facebook page to bring our Temple resources to you in this time of need for our families. And tonight's book is Pearl Moscowitz's Last Stand by Arthur A. Levine. This is a book about social action, and it can be found in our easy fiction section. I hope you enjoy. Okay, this is Pearl Moscowitz's Last Stand by Arthur A. Levine, and the illustrations are by Robert Roth. Pearl Moskowitz had seen a lot of change on Geeko Street. In fact, she can remember when it was a plain street called Smith, after the man who paid for the signs, Mr. Smith. But soon after the Browarskis and Plotniks and Krakovs started arriving from Russia, there was a big change. Bella Moskowitz, Pearl's mother, gave a petition to the mayor asking for trees to be planted on the block, flowering trees. And who could argue with Bella? He renamed the street for good measure. So Pearl and her sisters, Selma, Velma, and Wilma, grew tall and blossomed next to nature's own. One fall, the prettiest ginkgo tree of all was struck down by lightning, and the sisters rushed out crying to gather the orphaned leaves. But the other ginkgos thrived, and one summer day Velma got married under the green canopy of Stewie Feinberg's tree. Time passed, and the names on the mailboxes changed to old presidents like Washington, Lincoln, and Jefferson. When Pearl sat out in the shade of the trees with her neighbors, she began to serve mint tea and lemonade, Southern style. Her friends called her Pull and Sugar, and Pearl only minded a little when workers cleared away Minnie Hamilton's tree to make way for a bus stop. That made it easier for her sisters to visit. So more time went by, and families named Pina, Orantes, and Diego moved in. They taught Pearl to dance to a Latin beat, and they let her take a swing at the piñata for little Roy Diego's birthday party. But one day, a new mayor made a proclamation. No more slums, he said. Out with the old and in with the new. Bulldozers knocked down old houses and took many of the trees with them. Pearl watched from her window and wished her mother were still alive. Bella would have stopped them. By the time the Chens and the Keys became Pearl's neighbors, there was only one tree left, but it was a beauty, broad, strong, and deeply lined, not unlike Pearl herself. All the grandmas would gather under it to play cards and have picnics, matzo balls and steamed dumplings, challah and jalapenos. Then one day it happened. Pearl was sitting under the tree, reading to Sue Lynn and Valerie from next door, when a truck drove up. A tall, thin man with thin lips and a thin tie got out. "Sorry, folks, but you'll have to move," he said in a thin voice. "I have orders from the electric company to cut this tree down. New wiring, regulations." Then he started laying out his tools. Now, as I said, Pearl had seen a lot of change on Ginkgo Street, but she was not about to sit idly by while they cut down the last ginkgo. She stood up. "Excuse me," she said, "you look like a very nice boy. Are you eating enough?" The man looked up. "Well, I did skip lunch," he said. "How about a nosh then, girls?" said Pearl. "Knishes!" shouted Sue Lynn. "And bagels!" shouted Valerie. "With plenty of cream cheese and lox," said Pearl. And she meant it. Out came plates, trays. Before he knew it, the man had tuna and kasha, some scrambled eggs, fresh fruit, a cheese plate, and Pearl's noodle pudding, so good and full of cinnamon it could make you stop in your tracks, cold. The electrician was so stuffed he could barely move, let alone chop down a tree. But the next day he was back. Pearl, Mrs. Char, Mrs. Washington, and Mrs. Guerrera were playing canasta under the tree. Okay, ladies, no stacks today. I mean business, said the man. Pearl smiled. Such a handsome boy, she whispered loudly to Mrs. Char, and absolutely identical to my nephew Joseph. Pearl pulled out her wallet and opened it to the section for photos. The resemblance is remarkable. The man couldn't help looking over Pearl's shoulder. Oh, honey, sit, we've got lots of pictures. The ladies snapped open their wallets into long plastic accordion folds, and with each one, a story. Let me tell you, no tree got chopped down that day. But you believe this man came back for a third try the very next morning? This time no tricks, the man announced. Pearl looked up from fixing Ronnie Guerrera's bike. No one else was around. All right, said Pearl, you leave me no choice. Very carefully, she removed the long chain from Ronnie's bike. With a bold but measured step, she walked over to the tree and wrapped the chain around its trunk and hers. Then she had Ronnie lock his lock. Now go get your mother, Pearl told him. It's time for canasta. I love how she's staring him down. The ladies came and sat up under the tree. Ronnie played Pearl's hand for her. Soon it was lunchtime and everybody set up a buffet. Su Lin fed Pearl some cold sesame noodles and a Twinkie. Are you all right? The neighbors asked her. Fine, she said. I'll be here as long as it takes. People started leaning out their windows and coming down to see what was up. They brought music, baseballs, roller skates. It was the biggest party Ginkgo Street had ever seen. Finally, just as the sun was setting, TV cameras showed up, and reporters interviewed Pearl. I just want some justice, she told them. Of course, by then, the mayor had arrived in a long black limousine, and it's justice you shall have, proclaimed the mayor. He called off the cutting down of the tree, and Pearl even made him promise to plant new ginkgos up and down the block. The neighbors cheered and set off fireworks long into the night. Pearl took the electrician and the mayor into her kitchen and gave them each a huge warm slice of noodle pudding. The mayor had seconds. Go, look, I think he renamed the street. Ginkgo Street to Pearl Street. The end. I like how this book talks about social action and the environment. Pearl is a grandmother. She's not your usual person that you picture who's out there chaining themselves to things or who's out fighting against the authorities. But it shows you that anybody can do it. And Pearl, as an older Jewish woman, she has friends from all these different groups who have all moved into her neighborhood, and she's become friends with her neighbors, all of her neighbors, over the years. So she has friends among the Chinese community, among the Southern African American community, among all these other communities, and it's really cool to see how they all kind of almost intuitively get together to help each other for this one cause. Pearl chains herself to a tree, and all of her neighbors come down and start playing cards, and someone plays her hand for her, and they feed her, sesame noodles and Twinkies and whatever else. So the neighborhood all supports each other. All these different groups of people, all of us coming together to support each other. And in this case, in the environment, they're saving trees as well. So social action, community action, and the environment all come together in this wonderful, short, little, wonderful book. So, Tikkun Olam, and I hope you enjoy.